Jill, thanks for the opportunity to speak tonight. And if you've got any questions or whatever, happy to help. The Green Shirts movement, I became involved with approximately 13 months ago. And I was going through Facebook, and for people that know me, I'm very passionate about certain issues. What you see is what you get. And if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. What I love about the Green Shirts movement, and I'll refer back to Martin Bella. Martin Bella has created a movement born out of frustration in the disguise of environmentalism. Our country's future is at stake with food security, and I'll explain more of that. We are simply known for a couple of things: a voice for rural, regional, and reasonable people. There's nothing, it's just common sense. But what I can't call is bureaucrats sitting behind a desk in Brisbane dictating to how a farmer produces his land, cultivates his land to get an economic outcome. Now, if they wanted to vandalise their land, which is what the left promote through false ideology, it astounds me. And I'm telling you now, GSM is an organisation that grows a set. We stand for what we believe in, and we would there stare the left down. And you know what? If you can't handle the heat, don't want your $20. Period. Now, we have a simple mantra: Labor and the Greens last. That's it. The reality is, the Labor Party started the fight with green regulation to destroy prosperity for people of the land. And I'm the most passionate person you will ever see about farmers' rights. Now, just to go into it, based on that, I just want to read a quote that Martin and Rachel have come up with, and this sums it beautifully. The Green Shirts movement is a movement fighting back against the fake Greens, and who have no connection to the land, yet seek to control it with claims based in misinformation, ideology, and a blatant social agenda under the guise of environmentalism. They are using this smokescreen to control the outcome of food production. I have 3 children, 16, 9 and 8. I will fight every day, I will fight every night to promote the message for what is right. I will stand up and I will stare down the left, Labor or Green, do not care. Because people out there are hurting. You know, when and by the way, Jill Burbidge is our South East Queensland Brisbane cluster coordinator as well. And just on that point, we set up a statewide cluster coordinators. And just to let you know, we've got Far North Queensland, North Queensland, Rockhampton, South Burnett, Western Queensland, Dalby, Ipswich, Jill in Brisbane, and out of Texas as well. And this movement has, as I said, it's just been born out of frustration. And I forgot to say, Janet, we hope you win the seat of Mansfield and you'll make an outstanding candidate. Can we give Janet a round of applause? Now, so in reality, that's what we're fighting, right? Now, as I say, I come back to Martin Bella. When I spoke to Martin originally, he's an interesting character, put it that way. He's a straight shooter and he knows what he wants. To me, that's the type of people you want to be around, that stand for something, that grow a set, not hide behind bureaucrats, not we're going to have a study. No, this is how it is. This is where we're at. And I'll also tell the LNP, if you're not going to hold your end of the bargain, we'll go after you too. And this is what annoys me with the current conservative mindset, right? There's too much southeast focus. They're too worried about the inner city elites and the Greens. Now, A couple of points on that, and I'll come to the sideshow in a minute. By the way, Jill did it today, just outstanding. I don't know how she did it, but, just throw that in. So if you look at the current voting from Brisbane City Council, this is scary. 17.2% primary vote the Greens have across Brisbane. 26 wards out of the Brisbane City Council elections. One Green, Jonathan Shree in South Brisbane. Say no more, right? 50.2% he holds at primary. The other thing that's scary, there are 4 wards out of the 26 that nearly went to the Greens. So the social ideology, the fabric that we are fighting, whether it's climate change, and I'll come back to green shirts, it's real. And if people on the right are apathetic, do not grow a seed, do not stand up for their conviction, well, I'm sorry, you let it go on. I've got a lot of mates go, why would you be out? Why would you do this? I go, it's something I'm passionate about. It's something that I believe in. And yes, I will take the fight up. I will stand for what is right. And it's as simple as that. Now, the green shirts, as I said, a voice for rural, regional and reasonable people. And by the way, a lot of people say, well, my surname's Green and I can assure you I've never voted Green. I hate them with passion. Now, the reason why we have a green shirt is reverse psychology. The farmers are the true environmentalists. They are the captains of their land. They know what's right. They know what's wrong. Why are people sitting in Brisbane having a drone over a property out of Charleville? I mean, this is lunacy. And like what Lyle said, there is this destruction, what I see, of capitalism and the breakdown of the family unit. And it comes back to our core values as a society. And it leads into the green shirts movement. Now, I've got a couple of slides that I will explain. Now, this here was outside of Parliament House, and it was just pretty much supporting Australia's food and fibre producers, because every industry is under attack from the guise of green ideology. It's as simple as that, and I'll give more examples. And you got Martin Bella, and a lot of these people are just outstanding individuals. They're landholders. They work 7 days a week. I mean, anyone in the southeast like me, what would I know about farming? We go down to Coles, Woolies or Aldi, we get our milk, we buy our food. These poor blokes out in the regions when I travel out there, a lot of them don't have paper. They don't have, the local paper. They do not have basic technology. They have no birthing facilities. They have no medical facilities. I mean, Clifton doesn't even have a doctor now. I could go on and on. It's unbelievable. And it gets under my goat. Now, the Townsville Reef Regulations rally, this really stirred a few up. Now, just a couple of things. You would have seen the last 2 days in Brisbane, we had the Reef Regulations inquiry. And what we're talking about is based on science. And Dr. Peter, I've had a memory blank. It'll come to me. Peter Ridd, I had a memory blank. Dr. Peter Ridd come out in support of this inquiry and the reef regulations. Now, I could go a lot into it, but full credit to particularly the National Party senators that pushed this through. That was explaining the difference between state legislation versus federal legislation based on science that is creditable. Not some ideological left-wing, feel-good southeast society, keeping the Green vote happy. Now, in taking that into account, for example, they got, I think, about 300 to those rallies. And you also tie in there Rockwood Weir rally. Around the state, I'll give you an example. So in Bundaberg, you would have seen that the massive dam there, Paradise Dam, where they want to reduce the water capacity. Well, to cut a long story short, there's millions and millions of dollars of investment for farmers in those regions that if the water capacity reduces, they won't have the water to water their crops. This is lunacy. And just another example, Queensland Parliament House, right, and this really gets under my gate, is how can I put it? So if you're a commercial fisherman, particularly up north, the regulations are horrendous. They've got a thing called VMS, a vehicle monitoring system, that each commercial fisher has to install, pay for themselves, and monitor where they go and what they do. In our water, then you got green zones, then you got this, then you got that. We in the southeast just get on with our life, sitting in traffic, going to work, doing our thing. This is happening and this is real. If a Labor government is re-elected on the 31st of October 2020, it will be hell for the agricultural industry. And I'll come to that more. So, and they are furious. I've never seen anger before in my life. Now, this one I'm really excited about. So you got Martin Bella, an outstanding individual, as I said. I communicate with him and Jill regularly about issues. Then we've got a guy who's to the right of Martin Bella. His name's Mario Quagligetti. He's a farmer. I think he does bananas and beef. Don't quote me on that. But we had dinner with him last night because they had the reef inquiry. And if you look at our Facebook page, you will see the fight that we are taking up to him at the moment. Hence why we need a Conservative government to restore the balance. Now, you've got Dr. Peter Ridd. And obviously you've seen what's happened with Peter Ridd in the media. To me, freedom of speech. It's as simple as that. But that's where the federal government under Morrison has to grow a set. Withdraw the funding. You know, the left carry on, but if you're on the right and you stand up, oh hell's going to break loose. Well, guess what? Stand up, great, stand up for what is right. Now, Dr. Peter Ridd, this guy, I believe, has more courage than I've ever seen. I mean, I don't need to go in it. You guys are switched on. You need to, he is backed in consultation with the Green Shirts movement about what's right. And to me, this fear-mongering and the sediment runoff into the Great Barrier Reef is the greatest lot of BS I've ever seen. And it needs to be called out for what it is, because it is destroying people's lives. It's as simple as that. Now, I'll wind up quickly. We're at the Echo. That was fun too, Jill. I had a day with dog as well. Tomato sauce, supporting farmers both ways. Lockyer Valley launch, that was a good night. You were there, Lyle. Yep, great night. It's as simple as this is what we stand for. A lot of members will come. We've got about, 1,300 members and rising. A lot of people say to me, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I go, that's great. I believe in you. However, how are you going to resource it and how are you going to fund it? Because I'm all about commercial outcomes, putting Labor and the Greens last so we get rid of the filth. And that's what they are. They're filth. Now, simply, future plans uniting the soil, sea and city. Our biggest thing is education in the southeast. Do you want Australian produce or do you want foreign produce? Forget everything else with apathy in what's happening. Do you want Australian produce or do you want foreign produce? And simply, we've got, we'll have a whole new membership pack done by the end of this week. Our website's being done. We've called in the big guns to do that. And, it's just exciting. And we've got a GSM business membership. Can we give a round of applause to Susie Holmes? She's our Ipswich Green Shirts Movement Cluster Coordinator. And, but in a nutshell, I hope I've tried to explain what we're about, where we're at, where we're going. And remember, we put the Greens and Labor last. Thank you.